The views and opinions of the producers, hosts, and guests in the show do not directly reflect the official stand and policies of the management, the network, and the company. Is your business lucky or not at the moment? Have no fear, luck can be near or right here. You are lucky to meet the Feng Shui Master. We welcome you to the online luck mentoring program to help you unlock solutions to business case problems and profit with honor and lucky prosperity. Relax and enjoy your fun learning with your partner in luck, Master Aldric Dalumpines. Broadcasting live from Big Media, this is Philippine Business Feng Shui.
Hello, good evening. Tonight will be a very interesting night in that we discuss ang lucky designs, shapes and design. No? So, when we talk of shape in Tagalog, hugis or form, it can take the shape of a room or a house or a lot or property that can affect your feng shui. Well, of course, if it affects your feng shui, especially on the negative side, it can hinder your progress and prosperity. So it's best that you be made aware of the negative or the unlucky shapes and designs in your surroundings. And as much as you want to progress with effortless ease. Okay? So before we tackle that, let's pause for a station break and get ready with your pen and pencils, paper also.
We'll be back shortly. This is Philippine Business Feng Shui, only here on Big Media.
Technology allows us to explore a variety of opportunities. So why not grab one for you? Kickstart your online business with Big Benta. Create an account, visit our store builder, then make your online shop. Be visible, gain customers, and run your business hassle-free. Plus, enjoy the support of our local merchandising team to maximize our platform. Make technology work for you with Big Benta, Pinoy e-commerce site made for you. After this pandemic, let's support the Filipino community. Buy local, visit local, go local.
Now back to Philippine Business Feng Shui, only here on Big Media.
Okay, so our first topic, which we will delve on very lengthily tonight, will be one of the most unnoticed designs, especially in the Philippines, that we take for granted. No? Uh, it's a shape, it's a design we take for granted because of its popularity, or it's just a very uncommon symbol, and some even mistake it for luck. No, and I'm talking here of the what we call in feng shui bagua or pakwa design. In layman's terms, it's actually the octagon design. When I say octagon, it is like a polygon with 8 equal sides. No, uh, it's not considered octagon if one of the sides, 4 sides are smaller and not equal to the four bigger sides, no? Okay, so octagon is simply eight equal sides, ocho cantos. Okay, now why is it popular in the Philippines? First of all, uh, it is actually a feng shui uh, emblem, no? Commonly mistaken for protection, but it's not. No? In fact, uh, there was a movie produced titled Feng Shui using the Bagua as its storyline, if only to drive home the point that actually the Bagua or the Pakwa is malas or unlucky. No? Not everyone just simply uses this. In real full Feng Shui tradition, if you're scholarly enough to learn about Feng Shui, uh, the Bagua or octagon design is used mainly for the dead, the house of the dead, which is we call in Feng Shui Yin Feng Shui. Okay? Uh, what are the negative traits of the Bagua? Why is it bad? Well, in military science, of which Feng Shui also influences in ancient China, the usual formation of the great armies against uh, conquerors or used also by invaders like Genghis Khan and the Mongols is to surround the cities from the countryside. Okay? And they surround it from all eight compass directions, which is the Bagua. No? If you notice, eight equal sides is like the compass directions. You have the cardinal directions of north, south, east, west, and the in-between directions of northeast, southwest, and northwest, as well as southeast. In Feng Shui, there is an additional direction. The mirror in the Bagua, uh, the center is equal to another direction. There is a center direction. Okay? So, uh, using this in military science, in Feng Shui, it's called the eight maze trap. Meaning, if you're surrounded in all eight directions, you will be fenced in. If you'll be the subject area to be colonized, let's say your Julian Felipe Reef in the West Philippine Sea, no? And you're surrounded in all eight directions by Chinese militia ships. Okay, so in between, as happened in other ships and other reefs before, they started building islands, no? And structures in the question the territorial claims, no? And they locked it out actually. So a Bagua formation uh, signifies you're locked out. So whatever your status in life remains the same. Okay? And that's what they do when they invade countries or colonize countries. The invader, let's say Genghis Khan group or Kublai Khan, will surround a particular city in all eight directions, camp all around it, and observe, sending spies and do social investigation as to how uh, the city operates, no? How it produces its wealth, its economy, everything. Then after around 2 years of watching and observing and taking data or profiling of the key players in that particular place, from the mayor down to whoever the government is in that place, they start to invade. And when you're invaded, there are only two words that you will learn from the invader is to pay tribute to their king and pay taxes. So the other word is if you don't pay taxes, you have to face death. So money or life situation, death or taxes. Okay? So that's how bad actually uh, the Bagua uh, or 8 Mace trap strategy is. And of course, if you use it unknowingly, innocently, ignorantly, sometimes insolently, mayabang ka pa, no? Dahil swerte daw sa yan, no? You put it on top of your door or in your house, not knowing that you're inviting or attracting through the law of attraction your life being stuck. Okay? So what are the consequences of a stuck life? Let's start with your personal dimensions. If you're still single, it will be hard to get married. Okay? If you're married and you have kids, your kids will forever be dependent on you. Palamunin. Okay? Uh, there are a lot of instances, even though rich families, uh, filthy, wealthy in the Philippines, the patriarch or the matriarch so rich that there was a trend in the 60s or 70s. There was Taiwanese Feng Shui who came in, did Feng Shui locally and recommended Bagua-shaped houses or octagon-shaped houses or even investments like a golf course with a country club shaped like an octagon. Well, the owner of that golf course and village belongs to a wealthy family. Even if their kids finish from Harvard or were apparently born with a silver spoon, they never stood on their own 2 feet. All their wealth just depended on the wealth of the patriarch, okay, from the proceeds of real estate gains, either selling, leasing, whatever, okay? So that's first consequence in terms of family. You spawn freeloaders, no, in your family, palamunins. Second, if single, you also become a palamunin, being single, dependent on your parents, cannot stand on your own, and become independent. Very bad, no? Okay, those are on the personal uh, dimensions. Okay, so now uh, let's tackle other dimensions. So I noted if you're single, this is like a tumbok place also. If you have these symbols in your house, no? Uh, First, if you're still single, it's hard to get married. So either you become a bachelor for life or uh, a spinster if a lady, okay, never get married. Okay, where did these symbols come from? Well, it came from the Middle Ages, from the ancient symbolism also of Babylon, times of King Solomon. It traveled the Silk Road and got infused into Feng Shui, the concept of the Bagua. Okay, and how did it enter the Philippines? Well, the answer is easily seen through the friars. Okay, the friars, the Spanish friars, the various denominations, Dominicans, Franciscans, who built missionaries or missions in China, most of them were relegated to or transferred to the Philippines. And whatever they learned in their missionary work, uh, especially in China where Feng Shui was prevalent, got infused in their church building activities. So it is not uncanny for a Catholic church as far as Pawai or uh, in the Visayas, or if you can notice in Cebu, 500 years of Christianity, Magellan's Cross is inside a Bagua structure. When you look at the Magellan's Cross inside its uh, location, uh, the surroundings, especially when you look at the ceiling, it is an octagon, no, with all the murals there. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Well, perhaps in the olden days with the Vatican and churches, they wanted to keep the flock within their fold, locked in. Okay, the followers of the church. So they introduced these symbols, be it at the floor of the altar, be it like a window behind the altar, or a window on top of just like in Binondo Church or UST, on top of the main door of the church, there's a big stained glass or glass window that's shaped like an octagon. You can see this all around, okay? And of course, in the Philippines, the more it got popularized by temples who use this, uh, but there's a catch. Just like the motive of the early church, uh, temple purveyors of the Bagua, they circulate these stampitas or medals with Bagua or orations with rubber stamp Baguas to keep you within their fold. Okay? So, no matter what you do, it's hard for you if you're a temple adherent. It's hard for you to really break out and be yourself and achieve self-fulfillment. Okay? You will be always within the ambit of the temple because that's one culture propagated by Chinese temples. You always bet with your God. No? Santo Niño, pasok mo ito aking smuggled goods, 5 container. Pag ito nakapasok, donate ako sa iyo 1 container worth pang develop ng temple mo. Ganyan ang ka-material ang temple deals. No? Of course, it's done spiritually. Okay? From products, ex-deal, mga mantika, to butter or whatever, they donate to the temple after a rewarding spiritual miracle or experience in a business deal. Okay? So, call it rocket or not, the spirit of codependence is established like an addict between pusher and addict with the temple priest or monks and uh, the followers of the temple. Not different from Spanish colonizers, the friars and uh, the ordinary Juan de la Cruz. No? Okay, so uh, bottom line is if you have symbols of octagons in your house right now, this is the key to realizing that you've been attracting stagnancy or your progress is locked in. Hirap umasenso. No matter how hard you try to earn money, always lose in the end. try to do business, hirap umasenso. You're hard to progress. So the only way to free yourself is to also free yourself from any images of the octagon or the bagua. Okay, so are you ready with your pen and pencils and paper? Take notes. These are the most often taken for granted uh, bagua designs. Okay, in a typical Filipino home, ancient and modern or contemporary. First, let's tackle the altar. Okay, we have a lot of inherited saintly figures from Fatima to Virgin Mary derivatives, Manawag, whatever, or Santo Niño. Look at the base of the statue or the icon or even crucifixes at home. No? More often than not, the base stand is an octagon. Okay, so the best way is to change this. You create your own base, circular or square, not octagonal. Or if you can grind it into a circular or square uh, design, so much the better. Okay? So that's for religious icons. Secondly, in this age of plastic, many rosary containers, especially during events like papal visits, the church issues special Vatican type of rosary in plastic containers. You know, these uh, lid top plastic containers. The cover is normally round, but for it to be sealed underneath, the the container below where the rosary is contained is normally octagon or bagua. So that's bad. Okay, so all you have to do is dispose of the container and still use the rosary. Okay, otherwise you'll be forever praying like a nun. No, if you're still single, no matter how you pray hard for you to meet Mr. Right, your rosary container will hamper you from meeting Mr. Right. Okay, so there is another negative thing about baguas. Aside from you being stuck like a cat chasing your tail, it tires you out. So it depletes your energy, and over the long of time, you get sick and eventually possibly die, okay, due to ill health. So it also attracts ill health in the family, okay, if you have that in uh, the house. So what are other designs or symbols of bagua or octagon? There is a popular hotel in Manila that gives away to VIPs or their clients for Christmas promotion year in and year out an octagon designed wall clock. This is one of the worst symbols to have in your house. If you have an octagon wall clock, be it a cuckoo clock from ancient times, or even a colonial design, as long as it's octagon, even wristwatches, no matter even if it's a Rolex or a Boluva or whatever, uh, as long as it is octagon in your jewelry, no, shape, it can generate negativity in your life. Okay, so check your jewelry, especially certain cuts of diamonds. You know, just like I forgot, it's not princess cut, but Uh, if you look at on top, the shape of the top view portion of a diamond, even though how small or how big, is octagon. Okay? So you have to be very careful. And even in terms of lucky charms, people nowadays buy from Chinatown all this multicolored fake diamond glass. No? You use it as paperweight. It looks like a pyramid when turned upside down, be it ruby, green, whatever color, or clear. When you put it right side up, the top is also octagon. You have to be aware of this. And the most popular, of course, is the bagua itself, the Chinese mirror. Okay? Fake feng shui always provides you with Chinese mirror. They want you to get stuck. Okay? Uh, uh, Especially if they put it inside the house. Okay? It's safe enough if it's just outside, no? But never inside the house because you're converting your house uh, into a yin or feng shui for the dead house, okay? Like a mausoleo. Because these are actually meant for mausoleos or death crypts for that matter, okay? It's meant to put the dead stuck in all eight directions, cannot wander anymore like a hungry ghost, and rest in peace, okay? But if you put it to the house of the living, you know what it will attract, okay? Stagnancy and eventually ill health, okay? So that's how bad uh, symbolism can get. Some of our national artists in a time of uh, hurried empire building during martial law managed to put up a statement but affects the Filipino people as a nation. Like one national architect built the cultural center. If you look at our cultural center, it's shaped like a loo, a water closet. No, it's like an inodoro. And worse, what he did was the fountain in front, supposed to be the water closet, is in the shape of an octagon. That means our culture will really be truly damaged and stagnant. And it's like, shit. Okay? So that's how bad uh, design and symbols can get in an age of subliminal uh, rebellion uh, or political propaganda. Okay? Uh, Another would be in the national park, Luneta, in front of the statue of Jose Rizal across on the steps going up to the towards the grandstand, that park area, you see two carabaos. No? Actually, I think the one to the left is a tamaraw and the other is a carabao. Okay, both in a north-south grid. One is towards Baclaran, south. The other one is on the north steps. But if you check behind each carabao, they are both bulls, male. So this symbolizes in Feng Shui uh, the quarrel between Luzon and Mindanao. And ever since that was built, it spawned what we call the secessionist movement, no? Especially from Muslim brothers in Mindanao. During the time of FBR, this has been brought to his attention, and his friends who were Masons uh, tried to resolve it their way. How they did how they did address it was, instead of what was recommended in Feng Shui, to put a strong image of, let's say a Datu, Lapu-Lapu, or Raha Sulaiman, or a big farmer who can control the bulls from fighting each other north and south. Uh, Instead, they substituted their fraternity symbolism of putting an obelisk with a time piece. Uh, it worked for a while the battery of the wall clock embedded worked. But once time stopped also because of depreciation or wala ng battery yung relo, tumigil na rin yung peace and order between the North and South, Luzon and Mindanao. And it continues incessantly. That's how bad symbols can also affect a nation. Now, another one, we're proud of MOA. As we go down EDSA, reaching MOA, we'll encounter that electronic globe with the map of the world. But what's sad is right at the center of the map of the world facing EDSA, Tumbok, no, is the map of the Philippines. So, ignorantly or innocently, whoever designed that committed a grave error. It placed the Philippines at the center of the Tumbok of EDSA, and you know what Tumbok means. Any plans and programs to make the country progress or even modernize will always be thwarted or mothballed or deferred or hindi natutuloy, no? Because it's tumbok. Okay? That's how bad things can get. Okay? Now, for 500 years of Christianity, we can see how we're locked in through our churches and most of all, the Magellan Cross symbol in Cebu, no? Uh, Canopied under an octagon roofing. Okay? So, going back to your house, I'll give you an assignment to check if you have this progress limiting octagons. First, check all your umbrellas. Okay? Rainy season, it will be around the corner, or even summer, so you use umbrellas, especially those who play golf. Okay? Any 8 equal-sided umbrellas is bad. Okay? So, uh, do try to get rid of them. Don't worry. Lazada, Shopee, there are a lot of umbrellas, not octagon. Okay? You can easily acquire them. Now, what to do with these umbrellas? Octagon umbrellas. The best way is to donate them to a church or orphanage. Why? Because occupants of the church, the priest or the nuns, or religious organizations, they have to be forever married to Jesus Christ within the 8 corners of the church, 8 directions. Okay? So, to limit the priests getting married or nuns getting married to, even same-sex marriage nowadays, uh, it's best to uh, uh, cage them in with octagon umbrellas and even the octagon rosary containers I mentioned. Or if you want, you can also give them the octagon base, no? Uh, Statues. Okay? Octagon is such uh, a culprit. No? In my Feng Shui career, outstanding octagon remedies uh, can cure healthy ambitions of people. Let's say one had pin lights that were octagon shaped, okay, and he had been for almost 30 years always just occupying senior vice president position. Okay, when we dared him, if he's willing, just to chop off or lop off through grinder one side of each pin light that's octagon in his house to see for himself the effect. He took up the challenge and eventually ended up becoming finally the president and chair president of the firm he was working in. Okay, for politicians in the boondocks, uh, you can see the frustration of brothers, sisters, political families when one brother was always running for mayor and always losing. Okay, so a final check up, one election prior to election dates, uh, our surprise, the sala of that particular candidate had an octagon design. You see, it became a trend also in local architecture to have octagon designs, especially in the provinces. That means he got stuck. So as long as he had that octagon design on his ceiling, in his sala, no way will he win. So right there and then, when he learned about it, since it was just a molding, he instructed his people to remove it and repaint it right away and retouch it as if nothing happened. And true to form, he won the election for mayor for the first time. Okay, so that's how you can up your careers by taking away any bad feng shui symbols or hindrances, especially uh, octagons. Okay, now the worst, like that, I don't consider it worse, but uh, nothing could have been happier for the ex-wife and family of this particular Chinese man who got into a comatose already for beyond 3 years, such that it affected the lifestyle of his ex-wife who just volunteered to help him going back to the Philippines as caregiver upon the request of their priest son in the States because he was attending to his congregation. And poor wife, who was already married abroad, had to stick with ex-husband as caregiver for over 3 years until found out about Feng Shui and tried it. And uh, this time we applied natural Feng Shui euthanasia. Okay. Uh, and the husband simply died in his sleep peacefully to the jubilation of all family members because finally all their woes and struggles day in, day out were uh, relieved. Okay. And the wife happily lived ever after going back to her second family in the States, uh, fulfilling her uh, duties as requested by their eldest son priest. Okay, so that's the span of how you can cure a career, your personal ambitions. If you want to progress with effortless ease, remove the number one potential obstacle in your house, which is octagons. Okay, so that's the first unlucky design. No, talking of octagon in the Philippines, the most popular octagon will be the puwet ng baso. We all love this Duralex glass because it contains a lot of water. It's big enough. Offices like to use it because for meetings, it's sufficient in terms of water supply for drinking and for the guests. No, but oftentimes I get surprised. I get summoned by big companies into their boardrooms, uh, especially in cases where they're suddenly stuck in one transaction or have a collection problem. Only when I drink from the glass of water they serve me, I discover there's an octagon at the bottom of the glass. Okay, and that's the culprit. Okay, once they removed it, everything went smooth sailing. No? It's a proven track record. And also for new housewives, especially Japanese and Koreans, shy away from the oriental design of octagon plates, placemats, and whatever prints or design, even on curtains or tablecloths, or even napkin holders. Okay? So that's the wide expanse of uh, octagons. It can be simply a glass coaster, an ashtray, or the bottom of a circular glass. Okay? Or sometimes your very own diamond ring. Look at it. No? Or your earring, your jewelry, be it inherited or not. Okay? So you have to be careful about octagons. Okay? The most popular also in this computer age, of course, you've heard of octagon suppliers, no? Brands, no? And their logo is octagon. For business, it's not advisable to use octagon logos also. It will just get your business stuck somewhere somehow. Okay, so that's it for our first bad shape and design. So be careful, especially if you have a octagon umbrella, and if you look at the mirror with it, if your body is also developing already an octagon shape with 8 corners equal, very bad, huh? Okay, so exercise well during quarantine. Okay, so after that first topic, I hope you took notes. Um, let's pause for a station break.
We'll be back shortly. This is Philippine Business Feng Shui, only here on Big Media.
Get into the treasure trove of undiscovered music through Napalm, your new all-Pinoy alternative music program. Whether it's rock, metal, reggae, soul, or pop, we have it covered. Napalm features upcoming Pinoy artist and musician, hosted by your alternative revivalist, Charlie Diaz, and resident rockista, Pards Moro. So sit back and relax. Enjoy Napalm, only here on V81 Radio, Manila, where alternative lives. Welcome to Pride and Proud Asia, Asia's first online radio show that champions LGBT contribution and leadership in business and in our country and the region. Hosted by the Philippine LGBT Chamber of Commerce, visibility, representation, and empowerment. This is Pride and Proud Asia. Saturdays, 8 p.m. Philippine time. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila. Happy Pride! An online program that takes you to all corners of beauty and lifestyle. This is Beauty in a Box, providing insights on how beauty and lifestyle of all kinds will be of help to everyone, may it be in their professional or personal lives, by improving one's confidence. Beauty in a Box, every Saturday, 1 p.m. Philippine time, hosted by certified makeup artist and beauty enthusiast, Aaliyah Ambre. Beauty in a Box, only here on V81 Radio, Manila. The program for the millennials that will showcase young professionals' worth, aspirations, and successes in doing what they believe is right, progressive, and inclusive. Making a difference. Making a difference. Join them as they discover the path to self and societal fulfillment while making a difference. Hosted by empowered and cool millennial Erica Mizon. Together with her cool millennials, they will be making a difference. Every Saturday, 3 p.m. Philippine time. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila. Buckle up and get ready, set, and go. We're bringing you the action on air here on Sports Watch. Join Sports Girl anchor Nicole Ganglani as she dives deep into the lives of the athletes, fitness personalities, and enthusiasts from sports industry. Sports Watch every Saturday, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Philippine time. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Now back to Philippine Business Feng Shui, only here on Big Media.
Okay. So, pahabol lang. No? I just remembered the most popular culprit when it comes to octagon shapes and designs in an office setting will be trash cans. No? Yung plastic bin. More often than not now, maraming design na octagon yung opening. Okay? So that's one you have to dispose of. Never use in your premises, even at home and at work. And at home, it's the old plastic container receptacle for remote control for the TV, or sometimes used as a paper clip container or scratch paper, post-it in offices too. Shaped like an octagon. It's like a candy receptacle, but used for paper clips and other office purposes. So you have to be careful about that. Okay. Our next shape that you have to be careful of will be X's. No? Letter X. This one is very prevalent, especially when it comes to clocks and watches. If the nomenclature of the clocks and watches are in Roman, you know, 10 o'clock is an X, 9 is an, 1 and X. X is the Chinese character for Chong or Malas. So you attract bad luck. Okay. So very bad effect. How to avoid it? Avoid it from bag prints with X, especially sofa weaves. Even though they're leather, their joints are sometimes in an X formation. Be it tiles also. When you're constructing a house, uh, there are certain designs that are X. Okay. The most prevalent in architecture would be Italian designs, Muebles Italianos type, no? Maraming X yan. yung mga grill type, yung balusters ng stairs grilled with excess, window grills with excess. I had a bad experience. A famous radio announcer um, with her husband. She didn't know her husband was gifting her with a house. Yung uso noon, Italian Mediterranean. My husband doesn't know also Feng Shui, did not consult Feng Shui, proceeded with what the architect and designer did. Just before the house was finished, they divorced, they separated. Sad, no? And later on, the husband, just for curiosity, sought my feng shui advice in his new house, the leftover house. And that's where we discovered excess all over. So if you have excess all over, you can become also, in terms of love relationships, excess. Okay, so you have to be careful with X designs. Okay, uh, that's one, no? X. The other designs that are very inimical or bad are triangles. Okay, now triangles are very abrasive. They can cut, no? So they can cut feelings. Uh, People you relate to, you tend to quarrel with. Kung hindi ikaw nang-aaway, ikaw ang aawayin nila. Okay? So, do away with triangles. And also the flip side of triangles, when you combine two triangles together, diamond, no? Yung diamond shape. Matulis din yan, no? That's why Chinese, they don't like maraming kanto. Okay? Even the shape of a room, pag maraming tulis-tulis or a lot, they don't like that. It attracts quarrel. No? It becomes a quarrel someplace. Okay? So, you have uh, the octagon, the triangle, and uh, the diamond. Okay? Now, what other shape and designs to evade? Okay? Uh, Inverted triangles. This is also a triangle. It's bad to have triangle pointing down because it points down. It means failure. Okay. Uh, what else? How are these applied? These designs? Well, all around you. No, it can be on prints of your comforters, prints on your curtains, for interior design, your wallpapers, or in corporate identity programs, your corporate logos. No? So as much as possible, avoid these shapes in designs. No? And also, for every person, depending on your zodiac sign, uh, it doesn't mean, let's say, because you're rabbit, your your lucky logo can be rabbit. That's not good in feng shui. It cancels your luck, rabbit to rabbit. And so there are two basic rules to avoid, no, in using a logo. Uh, Avoid your own Chinese zodiac sign and its contrary sign. Let's say your rabbit, ang kalaban ng rabbit in Feng Shui, Chinese zodiac sign is rooster. So avoid rabbit and rooster signs. Okay? Pero may exceptions to the rule. If you can have two rabbits, you're the third rabbit, that creates luck. That's okay. You can have a double rabbit logo. Okay? But not double rooster at all. Kalaban mo yan. Okay? Those are ground rules when it comes to Chinese zodiac symbolism as applied to uh, lucky design for business or corporate identity programs. Okay, so is that clear, everybody? Okay, so if you're dragon, avoid dog and dragon. Pwede ka mag-double dragon, but never double dog. Okay? If you're rooster, pwede ka mag-double rooster, uh, but not rabbit at all. Okay? If you're ox, pwede ka mag uh, rat and double ox, no? But never sheep. Okay? So those are the dynamics, so on and so forth. Okay? So in the meantime, uh, let's have already our open forum. I'm sure you have a lot of questions when it comes to shapes and symbols. No? Feel free as long as stick within our topic for tonight. Okay? Any questions so far? Who's this? Teen Sultan. Uh, how about octagon? What's that? Diamonds and gems? Oh, yes, yes. Never have octagon, diamonds, and gems. No? Very bad. Also, Tinsel building her house asked me earlier about layered designs of table, like these woodcuts, patong-patong. Uh, we call that in Feng Shui crazy cut. No? Never have crazy cut designs. Magulo ang isip. Okay? So, same with jewelry, you have to be very careful. Okay? So, any other questions? IP Joseph, anong gagawin, Master, pag may octagon shape sa bahay? Okay. Nabanggit ko na yun. The most is you donate it to church. No? Pwede mo namang bigay sa parish priest nyo or ano. They can use it. Or an orphanage. Because these people have to be stuck in the orphanage. No? Yung mga street children, hindi naman sila pwedeng palaboy-laboy. Yung mga pare, madre, stick with the congregation. Okay? Pati yung mga payong nyo na yung iba pa nga, yung payong na pang swimming pool, parang sa Starbucks, no? Na 8-sided or golf umbrellas. Okay? I hope that answers your question. Who's this? Gigi. Oh, Gigi. Master, my window grills are diamond shaped designs. Replacing them would be expensive. Well, we cannot do anything about that. That is the law of supply and demand, which we cannot repeal, Gigi. Okay? As they say, an apple a day, while it keeps the doctor away, is expensive too. Okay? So you have to uh, contend with that. Okay? Reality. Okay? Otherwise, away lang kayo, away asawa mo. Okay? Buhay pa ba? Okay. Next. Melanie Velez. Okay. Melanie, Master, what is a temporary remedy for octagon tiles in the wardroom? Anyway, what you do if you have octagon tiles is you can just cover it temporarily with linoleum, no? Or whatever, vinyl or just to erase the image of the tiles, not to expose it. Okay? Parang snowflake nyo lang. Okay? That's the best approach. Because for as long as you have the octagon there, you're stuck. Okay? So, any other question? Next. Melanie is from Cebu. Who's this? Jolo. How about what's this? Portable tables na octagon. Or same, basta as long as they're octagon, no? If they can be remedied by grinding to a circle or a square, better. But if it's octagon, you cannot remedy it by covering it with mantel or tablecloth because the octagon will still be obvious. Okay, so I'm afraid you have to change your table. Okay? Yung iba nga, papalit na shower. Okay. Okay. Next. Any other questions? Okay, who's this? Gigi Gonzalez again. Master, octagon meaning 8 equal sides. Okay. That means you're stuck in all 8 directions. The bagwa. Okay. No, hindi yung 4 sides smaller. No, that's not considered an octagon. Okay. So I hope that's clear, Gigi. And who's this? Jolo. X-shape ang paa ng table master. Madali lang i-cure yung X ng paa ng table. Parang yung sa kabayo ng plantsahan yon, like the ironing board, no? Pag X-shape, talian nyo lang yung intersection ng X ng white ribbon. Okay? To dispel the negativity. Okay? Forge Medina, Master, is the 888 design lucky? Oh yes, of course it's lucky. Huwag mo naman lagay sa baboy. No? Iba, baka gamitin mo pang numero sa baboy. Okay, so baka akala tuloy ng tao 888 per kilo yung baboy mo. Malas yun. Okay? Ano yan? Imported. Okay? So, next. Any other questions? Okay. Okay. So, design ng numbers, it's best if you can use Chinese calligraphy designs. No? Like the Chinese numerology for 168, it means Yilu Fat, or it attracts prosperity all the way. Okay? You can put it outside your gate. It can be in a sticker or a concrete design, as others have done. No? Okay. Let me check. Okay. So we still have 30 minutes. Okay. Let me move forward to other bad designs when it comes to houses. No? Okay. But before that, let's pause for a station break. Okay.
We'll be back shortly. This is Philippine Business Feng Shui, only here on Big Media.
Technology allows us to explore a variety of opportunities. So why not grab one for you? Kickstart your online business with Big Benta. Create an account, visit our store builder, then make your online shop. Be visible, gain customers, and run your business hassle-free. Plus, enjoy the support of our local merchandising team to maximize our platform. Make technology work for you with Big Benta, Pinoy e-commerce site made for you. After this pandemic, let's support the Filipino community. Buy local, visit local, go local.
Now back to Philippine Business Feng Shui, only here on Big Media.
Okay, this is very interesting. When it comes to homes, uh, the number one design you should avoid is any spiral staircase. Okay, spiral staircase is like a tornado, so it will make your life like a tornado too. One time, big time. Okay, today you may be successful, but tomorrow you're back to square one. Okay, nawala. Para kang lotto winner. Okay, one time, big time lang. Okay, so be careful with spiral staircases, especially not only in the homes for the living, very prevalent ang spiral staircase sa mga family museum, lalo na yung may second floor. Okay, you have to be careful because that affects the future next generation. Ganun na magiging takbo ng buhay ng mga magmamana dun sa mga nakalibing sa patay sa mausoleo. Okay? Isa yon. Ang pinaka-worst, never locate a grand spiral staircase at the center of the house. Okay? I only encountered one client once with this. You know what happened to her? 3 beses po siya na byuda. Okay? Each time she gets married with that house in Ayala, Alabang, the center, died. She consulted lahat na nung mahuhusay na Feng Shui in the past. Uh, you know, even the one who Feng Shui'd her recommended, let's say, Arowana. Arowana died. If not, the Feng Shui master died too. Okay? So, 3 asawa na wala niya. It so happened, she was selling it to a client of mine who was an avid Feng Shui aficionado, noticed that, and pina-Feng Shui niya muna. And I had to advise her objectively that if she really wants a peaceful life and have her life back, she has to remove the spiral staircase. In no time after she removed it and relocated with the proper layout on the side of the house, she was able to sell the house and eventually settle down for retirement in her own resort somewhere in, I think, El Nido, no? Palawan. Okay, so that's how spiral staircases can be very bad. This is not only for homes or offices, but also even public offices. If you notice, if you tour the War Museum, the old headquarters in in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, Saigon, most of their headquarters are spiral staircases. No? So if, if you notice also the foreign policy of Vietnam is bobbing up and down, one time big time, one. So that's caused by uh, structures like this on a national level. Okay, so be careful with spiral staircase. Okay, and the way to design stairwells is if you want to use the classic oro plata mata, you add one more step, nada. Pilosopo lang kasi mga Pilipino, tinanggal nila yung nada. Kaya nasira-sira na lahat. Okay? But you can correct that when building your house. And the rule is, for every regular flight, may landing, you recount. Okay? You only count continuously if there's no landing, meaning the landing is triangular, continuous, ang steps going up. Okay? And pinaka-simple translation of oro, plata, mata, nada is good, good, bad, bad. Just end in any good step. Okay? For every flight. Okay? Of course, when it's spiral, disqualified na yun. Huwag na kami magbilang. Okay? Bawal yung spiral eh. Okay? Is that clear? Okay. So that's hagdan. And you use it in all steps in the house. Be it that step coming from the driveway to going inside your service door or main door, oro, plata, mata, nada yan, or good, good, bad, bad. No, no matter how many steps, you have to always count, okay, except for spiral. Even the steps of the water tank, you have to count, okay. And sa water tank, the most popular error is the guy wires of the water tank on the side that anchors the post is X. So you have to put ribbons at the center of each X. In your warehouses, when you visit your warehouse, bodega, look up the ceiling, no, below your GI sheet, no, of the roofing. There are guy wires also in the form of X's. So if you want good warehouse management, inventory management, no malas, fast moving lahat, tie a white ribbon at the center of each X all over the warehouses that you keep. Okay, that's a very valuable tip. Okay, often overlooked in business feng shui. Okay, I hope you took notes of that. Okay, so in the meantime, with these two lessons, you can ask questions. Mhm. For fencing, okay, my tip is as much possible, never use the old barbed wire type of fencing because the pointed spikes can point to your own house or your premises, which is bad. Okay. Uh, the best is to use the military blade type of barbed wire, one that doesn't puncture in all directions, no? Only one side. Okay, that's the best. Also, refrain from using, 1950s, 60s on hollow blocks on top, the broken bottles. broken bottles of soft drinks or beer as preventive as spikes, because the spikes might point to your property and it affects the feng shui negatively. Okay, it leads to a lot of envy and intrigue. Okay, and most likely labor problems. Okay, uh, so those are simple spatial designs that you have to be uh, very careful of. Water, of course, is a very good design if you have water features in your uh, home or office premises. But make sure you are feng shui guided accordingly, because wrong placement of water, while water symbolizes cash flow, uh, wrong placement can mean cash flow outwards, no, not for surplus or profits, but deficit spending. Okay, so you have to be careful in positioning water elements in your first of all house, then office premises. Okay, uh, for tiles, uh, no matter how aesthetic they look, for as long as they contain negative designs, as mentioned, uh, let's say triangles, diamonds, very bad, no? Okay. Now, for gates, okay, uh, many ask what will be best, a metal gate, a wooden gate, or any other types of gate. It depends on your element. If you're a metal person, it will be advisable to have a metal gate. If you're a wood person, it's best to have uh, a wood uh, a wood gate. No? Okay. Uh, if you're a water person, just color the gate blue or black, which are symbols of water. Okay, even though they're metal. Okay, so that's how spatial design, uh, two colors also, where feng shui marries, so to speak, interior and exterior design. Okay, for landscape design and architecture, meron pa yung lighting design and architecture. Uh, it depends on your caprice, no, and your budget. Okay. But as much as possible, when it comes to lighting fixtures, avoid octagonal. Okay, pin lights, whatever, spotlights. Avoid octagonal shapes as they're malas. Okay. Um, so for landscape that delves on lucky plants, we'll have a special session on that uh, hopefully next week. Lucky plants naman, no? Para yung mga plantitos and plantitas will satisfy their curiosity. There is one plant that will really stimulate uh, millionaireship. Okay, uh, you will learn in our next lessons. Okay. Meantime, any questions? I'll give you time to prepare your questions. Let's pause for a station break.
We'll be back shortly. This is Philippine Business Feng Shui, only here on B Media.
Technology allows us to explore a variety of opportunities. So why not grab one for you? Kickstart your online business with Big Benta. Create an account, visit our store builder, then make your online shop. Be visible, gain customers, and run your business hassle-free. Plus, enjoy the support of our local merchandising team to maximize our platform. Make technology work for you with Big Benta, Pinoy e-commerce site made for you. After this pandemic, let's support the Filipino community. Buy local, visit local, go local.
Now back to Philippine Business Feng Shui, only here on Big Media.
Okay. Before I forget, let me catch up with you on certain house design concerns, no, which are very popularly asked. Okay. Uh, First of all, maraming nagtatanong, masama po ba or is it bad to have your master bedroom above the garage? Okay. The question there is answered by letting technology work for you. Okay. Using your common sense and updating old Feng Shui literature in the context of contemporary Feng Shui. No? Before, Feng Shui literature was based on old Analects or Feng Shui books na yung panahon na yon, yung mga bahay, yung flooring kawayan, kahoy, 1950s, 60s, such that pag underneath yung master bedroom e garahe, pwede kang malason ng carbon monoxide pollution. Uh, each morning, when I warm up yung kotse, umaakyat yung pollution, seeps through the floors, and pollutes the environment, especially if you have aircon. No? It will stick to the filters and circulate in the aircon without you knowing the toxic gas of carbon monoxide is accumulating. Okay? Kaya marami pong namamatay nung 60s to 70s, even up to early 80s sa mga motel. Kasi the old Manila motels, if you notice, the ones surrounding Manila Zoo area, Ermita, Pasay, they were all wooden floorings with the garage underneath. Okay? So sometimes couples just check in and even forget to turn off their cars. It accumulates carbon monoxide and poisons them and even kills them eventually. Okay? But in modern setting, buhos na po ang sahig ngayon. No? So kung concrete yan, walang way mag-seep in ng gases or other bad pollutants, then it's safe. Okay? Lalo na kung aircon. Kung masama lang naman pag humalo yung pollutant carbon monoxide with the aircon system. Okay? So, I hope that clarifies the fishwives tales, no, on that. Next is you have to be very careful about the shape of your swimming pool in case you build a swimming pool. The worst case I had encountered was in Forbes Park. One of the elderly matrons of the elite suffered 7 spinal operations uh, on her back, only to correct her spinal misalignment. What happened was uh, she hired, you know, home service masseur who was all too eager to demonstrate to her her skills. He even stood up behind her back and let all her spine, like chiropractor, make tunog, no? Only to be eventually dislocating them one by one. That it will require 7 subsequent uh, operations, one vertebrae after another. Okay, with a gap of around 2 months per operation. Upon inspection of their house, wow, her master's bedroom where the accident happened was right beside the window. Beyond that was the house swimming pool. And if you notice, the the shape and design of the pool was like a butcher's knife, just like a scalpel type. That means it signifies it can mean death on the operating table. Okay, the good thing she survived the ordeal, no? But 7 operations, oh my God, no? You can imagine all the pain, no? Just because of a bad shape and designed swimming pool. You have to be careful. Okay, and this one, the last tip would be avoid this when positioning your bed in your uh, bedroom or positioning your office table in your office. Normally, a room would have this small frame on the ceiling which provides access to the ceiling for electrical maintenance repair works. Or kung may tulo or something, at least it's easily accessible. No? Okay. This is what we call in Feng Shui, avoid the coffin frame. Okay. So if you sleep with your bed with that frame, just like the one in the coffin, right in front of your face, as if you're lying down in a coffin, it attracts death. Okay. Very bad. Same with sitting underneath that hole in your work premises, or you have a sofa bed to rest or siesta, and right overhead it is that maintenance, electrical maintenance frame. No? That's what you call the coffin formation. That's very bad. And of course, don't make your bed or office tumbok to the door. No? Whichever door, be it a door of the main entrance of the bedroom or a balcony door, if there is, or the CR door. Never tumbok to the door of your bed. Okay? That's very bad. Okay? So, I hope that uh, adds further to your what to be aware of when it comes to shapes and design. And never have a sunken living room. That some houses are American inspired. They usually do one step down, two steps down. Uh, it has lower chi. It can attract disease. No? If that portion of the house relates to the torso or the heart, you can have heart disease or cardiac problems. No? If it's the legs, it can affect your legs. No? So you have to be careful about sunken living or dining rooms or even bedrooms. Okay, so have to be careful. Okay. Any questions so far? Who's this? Joseph. Tinsel. What to do if stairs are bad count? Okay. You can, using the count, you can easily ask your architect to adjust either by subtracting or adding a step proportionately, of course. If it can't be done, you just add full steps, uh, mini steps, like duende steps, no? The whole span of the stairs. You either add as baseboard below or on top, depending kung ilan ang kulang or ilan dapat ibawas. Okay? Dagdag bawas lang ang rule. Okay? It's difficult to put, some would prescribe doormat, floor mat, but all these things are dangerous because if you have house help or kasambahay doesn't know Feng Shui, in the future they remove that for maintenance, it affects your luck. Okay? So you have to be careful about your staircase. Okay? Any other question? IP Joseph. What's this? May remedy po ba pwede gawin ang spiral staircase? Oo, madali lang yan. Benta mo sa dyaryo bote. Sell it to the junk shop and create a new stairs. Okay? Very simple. Next. Jocelyn. Who's this? Good evening, sir. May maswerte po bang shape ng toilet bowl? Okay. Isa lang naman ang shape ng toilet bowl, no? Ang hindi lang maswerte normally is what I call the Japanese style. Yung Japanese style kasi is yung nakapatay kanto. Nandun siya sa corner ng banyo. I don't know what's with the Japanese na gusto nila yung ganun. No? Baka gusto nila pag nakaupo, 180 degree. Para ka na nagmamaneho ng kotse, may windshield ka. Ang view mo, 180 degrees. Okay? Pero hindi maganda. Okay? What's this? Shara Charlie. What to do in sunken living rooms, master? Well, normally you have to adjust. No? Sunken living rooms, you have to elevate with platform, be it wooden or what, to be equal para maganda talaga yung elevation. Okay? No other way to remedy it. Okay? So I hope that's clear. What's this? Barbara. Barbara, kailan tayo matutuloy? Saan po ba dapat harap ang toilet bowl? Siyempre, wag sa pintuan. No? It's a common architectural rule. No? For privacy, hindi direkta pagbukas ng pinto. Okay? Wala nga naman nakatalikod din, no? Okay? So, ano naman, baka nervyosa ka pa. Okay? So, that's it. Yung normal lang. Any other questions so far? Wala ng question. Okay. So, minsan, mapapansin mo, lalo na sa Japan and China, meron sila yung parang windsock or kites, koi, no? Yung tela na naka-silkscreen koi or ano. Pampaswerte din yung design na yan. Parang pang-attract ng cash flow. It's like you have an aquarium or a water feature, basta properly placed ang lugar ng mga ganyang koi. Usong-uso ngayon kasi marami tayo dito ngayon sa Philippines na Korean, Japanese surplus, and they sell that. Okay. So, any other questions as of now? Oh, it's already 9:32, so we're going to go a little overtime. Let's have one last station break before we discuss next week's topic. Okay?
We'll be back shortly. This is Philippine Business Feng Shui, only here on Big Media.
Technology allows us to explore a variety of opportunities. So why not grab one for you? Kickstart your online business with Big Benta. Create an account, visit our store builder, then make your online shop. Be visible, gain customers, and run your business hassle-free. Plus, enjoy the support of our local merchandising team to maximize our platform. Make technology work for you with Big Benta, Pinoy e-commerce site made for you. After this pandemic, let's support the Filipino community. Buy local, visit local, go local.
Now back to Philippine Business Feng Shui, only here on Big Media.
Okay. If only to whet your appetite for next week, for all the plantitos and plantitas, we'll take up 8 luckiest plants to have. Okay. From a Feng Shui viewpoint. Okay. So, see you next week, and be ready with your pots and plants for next week. And tandaan po, sa ikaunlad ng ating bayan, Feng Shui ang kailangan. Maraming salamat po, and see you next week. Have a happy weekend.
For harnessing luck and success in doing business. This is Philippine Business Feng Shui at your service. Sa ikaunlad ng bayan, Feng Shui ang kailangan. Hosted by your partner in luck, Master Aldric Dalumpines. Every Wednesdays at 8 p.m. See you on our next learning modules for luck in business. Only here on Big Media.